Alright, so a couple people DM me on Instagram saying, hey, check out this Goodwill auction near you, you should totally buy these drums. So I clicked the link and sure enough there's a set of old Ludwigs for really cheap. So I watched the auction, I put in my max bid at the last minute, and sure enough I ended up winning the kit for less than I wanted to pay, so that's awesome. And on the site it said to pick them up Friday, so I drive there. It's only like 30 minutes away with a 70-cent toll, and I get there and sure enough, they're closed. So I drive back home empty-handed and a $1.40 poorer than when I woke up, and I waited till Monday, which is today. So I wake up and decide to call them this time. Yeah, I was just checking if you're open today. They're open, let's do this. So that takes us to now. I only peeked inside the cases when I got there to make sure that they weren't full of bricks. So I haven't done a full investigation of these drums yet since I figured we'd do it together. Alright, so first of all, these cases are a bit grimy and nasty, and honestly I feel just touching them. So I'll probably get rid of these. I'll try and sell them maybe, but the straps are broken on, I think, all but one of them. But we don't care about the cases, we want to see the drums. Now, I'm hoping this rack tom is a 12-inch, but when I opened it at the store, I'm pretty sure it was a 13, so let's find out. I think that's a 13. Moment of truth, let's see this thing. Oh my god, look at that wrap. This wrap is in like near mint condition. There are zero scratches, zero nicks, zero scuffs, nothing, no marks on this thing at all. The seam is coming undone a little bit, but that's to be expected. So I'm honestly a little bit shocked. So this is a 13x9 rack tom. It has the original muffler. The badge is a little bit scratched, but it's in good shape otherwise. And it also came with the original Tom L arm. And also, after a little bit closer of a look, I think this tension rod is cross-threaded. So that is that drum. Now on to the bass drum. If we take a listen, it's like a bunch of like rocks or sand or something at the bottom of this case, so hopefully this bass drum isn't actually full of bricks. So far so good, just a little bit of dirt on the bass drum hoop. Also worth mentioning is these are Ludwig Standards. Alright, I don't think it's full of bricks, and the sound that we were hearing is this washer and a bunch of rocks and a couple bug carcasses. So that case is disgusting, but thankfully the bass drum isn't, or at least it's not too horrible. Again, there's a bit of dust and grime here and there, but nothing too serious. But I believe that washer is from the cymbal mount because it's missing the nut, which I might have an extra. I'm also just noticing that this doesn't belong here. That would be your bass drum spur. So we got one, so that means we have both bass drum spurs. That is very good. This drum isn't missing any parts as far as I can tell. We will tear inside of these drums shortly, but again, it has the spurs, all the wing nuts, all the tension rods, all the claws are correct, the bass drum hoop inlays are there, they're not all chewed up and, missing. And again, the wrap is in just immaculate condition. This is by far one of the coolest finishes or wraps that the Standards came in, and I guess it's worth mentioning to say that this is called Gold Strata. So now you're asking, well, where's the floor tom? And honestly, I wish I knew, so with your help, I feel like we can find a floor tom for this kit. I've checked eBay and Reverb and everywhere so far, posted on a couple Facebook groups. and no luck so far. But if anyone out there has a floor tom, a Ludwig Standard floor tom with the Gold Strata wrap that is just sitting in their basement collecting dust that could be put to good use on this kit. Alright, I have drums everywhere, but we got a bonus unboxing. After I bought those, I had the opportunity to get this drum, but it was before I picked up those drums. So I thought, oh, I'll just find a floor tom down the road, but I'm starting to realize that it's probably impossible to find a floor tom. So I was like, screw it, I'll buy this, but then it was gone. But then the guy that was selling it was like, hey, I got this floor tom, do you want it? So here it is. Look at that seam. So I believe this is a standard floor tom. It could be a rocker, but I don't know for sure. So a few things about this drum. The rims don't match. If I had to guess, this one is a Ludwig rim, while this one isn't. Also, a bunch of these tension rods are different. So this one has a short shank, this one doesn't have one, and then this one is a long shank. Also, there are wing nuts on the floor tom leg mounts, which I'm not sure if the Standards had those, because this tom has the nut on it instead of a wing nut. So now, I guess we'll tear into these drums, take the heads off, and see the insides. So the most important thing about these drums is the edges are in good shape, at least on the heads that I took off so far. The swivel nut on the 13 is indeed cross-threaded. So this is kind of interesting. With the lug off of the drum, you can see what this wrap used to look like. Honestly, I want to say that I like it better now, but that is quite the difference in color. And then the floor tom is missing the muffler. But the insides of the 13 as well as the bass drum are just mint condition, like brand new. Other than a little bit of rust on some washers on the bass drum. Well, there's kind of a lot of rust on a lot of the washers, but all of the metal on the inside of the 13 is very clean. And the inside of the 16 is pretty rough. I mean, it could be worse. There's just a bit of staining here and there, and there is some rust on the screws and washers, but it's nothing too major. But inside of the bass drum, there is a paper label as well as some blue squiggle and a number 6, it looks like. And then for the date stamp, apparently no one's ever figured out what these numbers mean or how they correlate to the date. But I think the best explanation is that this number is more of a serial number for the date rather than the actual date, if that makes sense. So if anyone knows more about these date stamps, then feel free to leave a comment and look really smart. So there isn't much else to say about this kit other than it needs new heads and it really needs to be tuned. But I'm too lazy to go get heads, and also I'm waiting to get a floor tom. So if I ever find a floor tom, or for that matter a rat for a 16-inch floor tom, or for a bass drum, because I'm pretty sure I can cut it up and make it look right on the floor tom. So if I ever find that, then you'll see a proper video on this kit, fully restored and looking nice. And for that matter, sounding nice. But if you like this type of video, be sure to like and subscribe. I'm also curious to know if you've ever found a crazy kit at a Goodwill or a thrift store or anything like that. So drop that in the comment and I'll catch you in the next one.